Do you ever feel like wolfing out? I do sometimes. It's hard to keep that shit under wraps, you know what I'm saying? You gotta hold that beast right down and just be like, not today, Satan. Not today. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Get out of my head!
I don't think even now that I'll ever forget my mother's handwriting. I can't recall her smell, or how she sounded when she laughed, or the color of her eyes. I know in particular I wished I could recall her laughter. She never laughed enough. Over time you forget details about people who are gone. The little things that sometimes mean the most become faded around the edges. But I know, even as I destroy the physical evidence, her words will always haunt me. I stand here alone, the warmth of the bonfire caressing my face as I watch the flames spark and flicker. The night is a massive cloak of stars stretching into the universe above me. I may be camped out in the bush alone, but I know many things are speaking to me right now. My memories haunt me like phantoms, and the firelight speaks to me in hot whispers. It tells me I'm destroying our past, but sometimes it's the only way to move on. She spent years studying calligraphy, using pen and ink to imitate the ebb and flow of words. As she got older, she had created her own elegant handwriting style. All the letters were perfectly aligned, knowing their exact place on the page. Writing was art for her, another extension of her creative self. Even when she signed her name for her visa or signed for a package in the mail, people took notice. "Wow, you have lovely handwriting," they'd say, and my mother would beam proudly. She tried to do it discreetly, but my family isn't known for our discretion. Even when we try, our emotions are written in the color of our cheeks or the way we bat our eyelashes. It's even written in the purple and black bruises that stained our faces. Bruises most times my mother gave me as reminders. Bruises sometimes her new boyfriend of the month gave her for speaking at a turn. We just don't hide things well. My mother didn't take compliments well either. While she enjoyed them, she never said thank you. She probably didn't know what to do because in that exact same instant she would go from pride to confusion as the moment passed. One time she was complimented on a painting she made when she was 16. It was this large acrylic piece that hung over the door in our grandma's house. It looked like something someone would have painted in the 1800s. People were dressed in period clothes and there was a horse-drawn carriage in the center. A nurse had come by to administer my mother's morphine shot for the day. The nurse was observant and noticed the painting the moment she stepped through the door. "Oh my, what a lovely piece. Where'd you get that?" My mother knew. She should say something. She seemed startled, like the nurse had just smacked her across the face. The silence was painful, so to help ease it, I replied, "My mom made it. She's an artist." "You're kidding me," the nurse said to me, her face alight with wonder. "It looks authentic." I was so proud of my mother's art. So proud that I got any talent at all from her. She was too for a moment. There was a spark of joy that lasted ever so briefly. Then I could see it crumble on her features. The light in her eyes dimmed, and she suddenly frowned as if humiliated. The unending war that raged behind her eyes, as if two people lived in her body and fought over her soul. Most times, the dark side would win. Not enough people told my mother she was beautiful, so when I finally did, she didn't hear it. I guess I come by that honestly. Occasionally she'd write beautiful poetry and prose, which only highlighted the experience her words brought forth. Her handwritten words were like watching ballet. It was graceful and lyrical dance on paper. I sometimes would watch her work, peeking at her from behind the bedroom door. She never saw me. I watched her lean over her notebooks, long brown hair falling over her shoulders and face like a veil of water. I loved the way her hand would move across the paper with purpose, furiously scribbling, intent on raw images. I was her secret admirer. So one could imagine how stunned I would be when she would use swear words. They seemed so out of place, as if the two worlds colliding brought paradox into reality. These ugly, vicious words were cloaked in the flesh of those regal letters. Each stroke held the spirit of my betrayal. Each crossed T was a dagger in my chest. Somehow, seeing them in such elegant scrawl made the impact of their meanings much worse. When she died, I had to go through all of her things. I found books filled with writings, poetry, prose, songs, and scribbles. Here were keys to her soul, a hidden knowledge I was never given privilege to really absorb until that moment. Behind her drug-dulled gaze held this covert realm of dreams and nightmares. She encased her creativity in faded books of paper and never showed them to anyone. The remnants of her writings were the only things she left me of worth. I also found hate notes addressed to me. The venom of her anger choked me like clammy dead fingers. They were merely words scribbled onto the page feverishly, but I'm weeping as I read them. Even in the heat of her passion, her handwriting sings, but it's a voice of a possessed fury instead of an alluring siren. It makes me believe everything she's written is truth. To Maya, I've waited a long time to share my feelings with you. A long time. When you left me 6 years ago, I was devastated. I couldn't believe you'd betray me like that. Others have hurt me, but you? After all we endured, I figured you'd be with me until the very end. But I can't trust anyone, it seems, including my own daughter. I look at these notes now and think about the impact her words made as they were birthed into the world. I think of these hate notes and the pain of loss. I am not these things. To set myself free, I carry them in my arms and slowly drop them into the bonfire in front of me. The heat drifts across my arms and face. The chill from the wind seems like a distant memory. Perhaps it's because I'm tuning it out, or perhaps I'm preparing myself to replace this cold with warmth. I just want to be cleansed of this curse. I need to cleanse us both. And her words would say, I wish I never gave birth to you. Slowly I watch the letters twist and crackle, turning black and shedding their old skins. I don't want to be my mother's legacy. I don't want to share her fate. And yet, I can't help but wonder if I too will only leave behind shadow words when I'm gone. The end.